We are examining and investigating the various malfeasances and crimes and so forth of the president. We are going into court and asking for more information and to enforce our subpoenas. We are telling the court that we are doing this not just as part of normal oversight, but also because as part of our Article 1 authority and responsibility to consider all remedies, including possibility of articles of impeachment, and that's what we're going to do. Now, whether you call that an inquiry or whatever you want to call that, that's what we've been doing and we are doing and will continue to do.
Mr. Nadler, the court battle could take a little bit of time. Do you have a deadline, even if it's expedited, it could take a while. Do you have a deadline in your mind as to when you all will make this decision? And would you?
Well, first of all, it's not this decision, a lot of different decisions, and no, I don't.
Mr. Nadler, you've mentioned the idea of having the strongest possible case before you go to court, but isn't the strongest possible case to get 6E material being in an impeachment inquiry?
The strongest possible case is to tell the court what we're telling the court, which you'll see in the court. I think we're going to give you copies of the court filings, and I quoted part of the relevant paragraph, and that is that we are, and I'll read it again. The House must have access to all relevant facts, consider whether to exercise its full Article 1 powers, including a constitutional power of the utmost gravity, recommendation of articles of impeachment. That falls in the first instance to the House Committee on the Judiciary. What we are telling the court, and one of the purposes of telling the court is to say we are exercising our highest authority, is that we are considering the malfeasances of the president. We're considering what remedies we can do, including the possibility of articles of impeachment.
Mr. Chairman,
Jamie? No, do you want to?
Well, but I was just going to say that there's no formal constitutional or statutory or even House rule for how an impeachment inquiry is to begin. And so it means different things to different people. For a lot of people believe we've been in an impeachment inquiry ever since we started looking into potential high crimes and misdemeanors and the misconduct of the executive branch. Other people think an impeachment inquiry doesn't begin until you actually have articles of impeachment. I would say we are in an impeachment investigation. And as to the results of the investigation, it could lead to articles of impeachment or it could lead to something else. But from my personal standpoint, I think we are in an impeachment investigation.
and
Eric,
and so, are you saying that we're not? Somebody says it's not binary.
Yeah.
How is this not binary? Either we're in it or we're not, right?
when you look at different Congresses and the way they've addressed it, they've done it in different ways. Nixon was done different than with President Clinton, and what we are suggesting here is this court filing is the first time that you're seeing us telegraph to the court that one of the remedies we have is impeachment, and to consider whether that should be used. So that opens up and should activate that grand jury material. So I support what Mr. Raskin just said, which is this is an impeachment investigation, whether we should recommend articles of impeachment to our colleagues.
So this is an escalation.
You're saying there's no difference between what you're doing now and an impeachment inquiry, correct?
In effect, what I'm saying is that we are, well, I suppose there is one difference which you could draw. I mean, if you said that an impeachment inquiry is when you're considering only impeachment, that's not what we're doing. We are investigating all of this, and we are going to see what remedies we could recommend, including the possibility of articles of impeachment. We're not limited to that, but that's very much the possibility as a result of what we're doing.
So go on.
Mr. Chairman, in your opening, can I ask you a follow-up? You made a comment on, you said there appears to be compelling evidence of the president's misconduct outside the four corners of the Mueller report. Can you elaborate on that statement and where else you guys are looking at for evidence? Pelosi's referred to the president's financial records a lot this week and looking for something there.
Well, they're all, for example, even the special prosecutor, the special counsel referred to Manafort giving internal polling data and other information about from the Trump campaign to someone who was identified as an agent of the Russian government, doing that for months. Now, that wasn't followed up on by the report, but one raises the obvious question of what use would be detailed polling reports about Wisconsin and Michigan and so forth to the Russians, except to help direct their interference, their trolling, their media operation, their social media operations. That would be very, very serious, obviously. But we know they were giving the this internal polling documentation, which is normally very closely held secret in any campaign, to the Russians. For what purpose? Why did the Russians want it? Why were they giving it? That was not followed up by the and what conceivable purpose other than to help them interfere in the election. That was not followed up. Also, you look at some of the financial things. Also, you look at the whole violation of the Emoluments Clause of the Constitution, which seems to be systematic and ongoing. There are a lot of different things that weren't investigated by the Mueller investigation, which conceived of its purview as very restricted purview. And we have to look at. We'll see where we want to go in all of this.